It is a little after 9:30 on a Thursday night, and we're tuned into Beltway Radio and Beyond, which means one and only thing. It's ChipChat.
Hey!
Welcome. I'm asking you guys. Welcome to ChipChat, everybody. I'm Chip. With me is who are you, Tez?
You just told him.
There we go. That started with like a question because we spent the last 10 minutes basically in a state of questioning. I think it's fair to say. Trying to work out like some technical details, so I wasn't totally sure. If,
we'll bring you behind.
Only that
bring you behind the curtains of what goes on here at Beltway Radio and Beyond. Yes, I tilt my head every time to read it.
Gotta check it. I'm still working on it.
Man, things happen. But you know what? This show, it always somehow it gets on.
Yeah,
it somehow
we're like roaches.
Oh God,
can't get rid of us.
Can't get rid of us, Lord.
So anyway, speaking of people we can't get rid of, we have a returning guest.
Yes, friend of the show.
And we're gonna do things a little out of order this week, which is to say we're gonna talk to him first because he's much funnier and cooler than we are.
Yeah.
So who is it? Who's visiting, Tez?
It's Roger Mooking.
Yes,
he's back.
Roger is back. Now a lot of people might be wondering why.
Yeah, great question.
And it's of course because he wants me to teach him how to smoke brisket. He doesn't. He's trying. I'm watching him on TV. All these seasons of him trying to learn, but don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, that's why he's
here. But okay. Anyway, maybe some other stuff. But we're gonna also make him play Florida or not.
Yes,
which we haven't done in a while.
We have not.
But this one is definitely a good story.
Did he? I don't remember the story. Did we give him a story the first time?
I don't remember. Yeah, I think we did.
I'm trying to. Yeah,
we can go back and look because I reposted the whole episode this week in preparation. Yeah. We'll also have some other stuff. Maybe I don't know. We got to talk about Memphis. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That like we have to talk about it, but we promise we won't show you any.
Yeah, we're not.
Video
No.
Because we're not going to do that.
We're not. Yeah, we're over. Like, I don't even know how to say that properly, but. I go speak for myself. I am not watching any. I don't need to.
Nope, don't need to see that. We'll have some rundown. You have a Tez talk?
Yeah,
I found something. I put it on there. I don't know if you got to take a look at it. Whole bunch of others. Whatever. This is not the part that you care about. You want to hear us talk to Roger.
That's exactly. Who cares? If Tez talk or not.
Stupid intro.
Yeah, exactly.
Playing it out. Who cares? All right. Do you have a word?
I'm thinking. I got a word.
Okay. I got one too. We'll see if this one works. So we're gonna do all those things, right? Sit back, grab some
punctuality.
It's fire time. You're listening to the best show, maybe the only.
I hope
show. ChipChat on Beltway Radio and Beyond.
Sweeps.
Welcome back to ChipChat. You're on Beltway Radio and Beyond. You're on Beltway Radio and Beyond. With me is Tez.
What's Mafia?
So, all right, let's get to the thing, right? All right. Roger Mooking is a celebrity chef, accomplished musician, producer, restaurant owner, business guy, and of course, former guest on this show, which is probably how most of you have heard of him.
Yes,
he recently teamed up with the entire city of Toronto and some other artists to create a giant citywide interactive art installation called The Burn. And Roger joins us now. Roger, welcome back to ChipChat.
What's up, man?
What's going on? So, a lot of people know you from Man Fire Food and all of the other shows. Which shows that you are qualified to handle fire in many forms. I've seen you. You should see how happy he gets when he gets that torch. He's like, ah!
Yeah, it's legit, bro. I'm like a pyromaniac, legit.
So tell us about what the burn is and how people get to interact with it. We don't just get to watch you torch stuff.
Yeah, so the burn is like this interactive, immersive, citywide art installation. It starts in it's 2 phases. So it starts with these 3.5-foot gold vessels designed by this designer that we brought on board named Javid Jai. This incredible designer and fabrication team he's got. So we brought him in, and you see the burn vessel right here, this thing right here. He built. So what this is like a 3.5-foot gold structure. It has a cedar bowl and 88 cedar balls in it, and it's standing on a pedestal, and it's lit up, and there's a gong inside of it. So what happened is you take one of these cedar balls. So instead of like writing an intention down, it's a COVID commemoration installation, right? So a lot of things happened during COVID, like under this collective sort of consciousness of the globe everyone at the globe at the same time was experiencing this really impactful thing. And it's a very unique moment for that to happen globally like that, right? So while that's happening, a lot of people have gone through a lot of grief, man, a lot of trauma as a result of during this COVID period in the last 3 years. And so we wanted to kind of honor and respect and commemorate those lives lost, but also just acknowledge so much grief and trauma happened over the last few years and really try and find a way to heal with it. So the idea is you take one of these balls, and instead of writing down an intention, you kind of meditate on your intention and you place it on these balls. You place it inside of the vessel. It's lit up by a UV light, so each ball is cleansed. But the idea that when it hits the bottom of the chute, it resonates a gong. And now, so the idea is that over the course of January 19th to March 11th, we have these vessels touring every week. They're changing locations all over the city of Toronto. There's about 24 locations right now because we want to make sure we can bring the vessels to the people where they are in their neighborhoods, and make sure we can also hit those neighborhoods that are most affected by the COVID pandemic, right? So we bring those to them, and they can interact with those vessels. And over time, we collect tens of thousands of these cedar spheres. And so what we're going to do is on March 11th, from sunset to March 12th on sunset, we're taking over the main square at City Hall, right downtown central Toronto. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. We're building, again, Javid is building these like 15-foot tall monuments sitting in 30-foot wide pools of water. We have 3 of them going, and inside the cavity of them, they're monuments of perforated steel, light, sound, and fire. And inside the cavity is going to be raging fires. And so we're going to take those cedar balls and burn them. So everybody's intentions that are charged on these cedar spheres, we burn them. And there's a healing and cleansing, balancing with the water and the fire. Fire not only used for cooking, man, it's used sacred ritualistically throughout time, through the human history, across all cultures. We burn fire, right? For cleansing and healing. So we're using that natural power of the elements to really bring this thing alive, to allow people to heal, man. And then we're going to collect all of these ashes, and we're going to distribute them through community gardens, so that, literally the intentions of the people of the city are cleansed, burned, healed, and then we take those intentions and repurpose them throughout community gardens throughout the city, right? So this is what the burn is all about, man. It's a really special moment, and the city's got really behind it. The Canadian government's really behind it. We have an amazing team of people behind this project, and it just grows every day. And if you come to Toronto right now, you'll see like billboards off the highway, bus shelters everywhere, radio, TV. Like, this thing really kind of just exploded, man, from a really humble idea.
It's really,
it's amazing.
I mean, we've been reading about it, but to hear you describe it really brought it even more. Like, we I don't know if you know this, Raj, but here in DC, we can't be trusted with that much fire. There was an incident a couple of years ago on our Capitol. They would not let us put up big sets of fire and things in the main square on the mall.
Well, this is the thing. What's interesting about that, I think this is the first time in the city's history that they've allowed a fire on this scale at the main square. It's just a special moment, a special execution, and people have really gravitated across the city at all levels to make this thing happen and really embrace it. I tell you, man, it's a wacky, crazy idea that came from a really dark place. I woke up one morning and this thing hit me. And then I told a team member, curator Umbreen, who I work with the city of Toronto for a few years now. I'm a member of the Awakenings Task Force of the city of Toronto, and we've been rolling out all of this social impact programming for the last 3 years. And so this is one layer to that as well, but it's kind of taken on a life of its own in a whole new way, man. It's just a magical thing. We just brought on great people, man.
Roger, in working with this, like Toronto, is there anything like you or any advice you would give for, like, say, someone who's skeptical about how art in this way could kind of connect, and how, because some people a lot of times look, especially in government, they don't see how powerful, I guess, art can be to like the community as a whole.
Well, half of government.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
in our, I guess. But I was trying to be a little more broad with it. But if you was to explain it to someone to get them to like buy into it and again really stress this is why this would be important and why you should invest in it, how would you go about doing that?
Well, I'll tell you, it started really humbly, man. Like I said, I started with Umbreen, this idea, and then we brought in Javid as the designer and fabricator. We brought in Elder Catherine Tomorrow, who's our Indigenous elder advisor on this, to make sure that we're operating properly within the framework of the people of the land, right? So all of those things, and we have like this great advisement team and this production team, really, really humbly, and started really small. And then somehow somebody inside the mayor's office heard about this thing, and they started asking us about it. And they said, wow, this is really cool. Let's build on it. And then they kind of took it into their office as well as our small team. And then that started expanding. And then the Canadian government got involved, and then it started expanding again. So it was never really a moment of having to sell the grandness of the idea.
Right.
It was
Canada.
Yeah.
No, it's not even that, my brother. I tell you, this is an unprecedented kind of thing to take a thing like this, and it really exploded to this kind
We
of.
have to convince half the country every time that we should pay the debt that we've already incurred, or that it's like, kids should have schools. We can't convince them to then invest in some sort of.
But
Well,
I
I tell you, brother, if you're invested in saving lives, art saves lives.
Of course it does.
I will be first-hand advocate for that. Art saves lives.
You hear that? All you pro-life jerks.
So if you're actually looking for ways to help people, give them access to art. There has been a lot of studies recently where they just take people and they plug their brains to neurological reading instruments, right?
Yeah,
and they have them just look at paintings, just looking at paintings.
Yeah.
Looking at paintings starts to rewire the brain, just looking at it in a museum, right?
Yes.
Art transforms and heals the person. This is like just facts. So if you're interested in healing and helping people, you have to be connected to arts. And if you're not, well, then you show your colors for what this really is.
I think that's really
there it is. That's the
facts and actually they're not.
No,
Yeah.
So
that's what this is, right? So you just got to face that, and then you go where you find the support. If you find the places where there's support and try and build there, like it is what it is. But at a certain point, the art has to take on a life of its own, And I think a part of what the success of this project is out the gate. Like I said, this started a really dark place, and I realized, it's not about me, because I'm not the only one this time who feels like I'm in a dark place, because I've been there before. This time it was like everybody on the globe could tell a story about a dark place. So I was like, okay, this is not about me. This is about everybody. So when we started building this idea out with the team and really started developing it, talking to Elder Catherine and Umbreen and Javid and the production team and all that, my main focus constantly was coming back to, it's got to be universal to everybody. I don't care who you vote for. I don't care who you are married to. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care what your position is on X, Y, or Z. In this situation, I recognize that everybody needed healing. Everybody is walking around with some shit, right? Everybody's suffering from some kind of trauma and drama. And it's like, it's not a relativity thing. Yeah, a lot of people have extenuating circumstances. I'm a black man in North America. Trust, there's extenuating circumstances, my brother. Right? I recognize this as fact in this moment, and I recognize that every day. I can't like avoid that. Right?
Yeah,
This is the
pretty much
reality.
90% of our show.
But at the end of the day, everybody, I can't name one person I know. I know people from every walk of life, every religion, every income. I can't think of one person that I know that isn't walking around with a horrible story. And
That's not one.
Several.
There's not one person.
There's not one person, bro. So in this installation, we washed everything. Not like whitewash. Don't get twisted.
No.
Everything away and said the way the visuals look, the way the forms look, the way the design, everything has to be universal, right?
It's got to be something that everybody's going to understand and know what to do with immediately. And that gets to this question of like, I'm glad that you trust modern Canadians with access to that much fire, but would you trust Americans with a similar installation?
Good question is that. So yeah,
I just sat back.
I gotta tell you, the access to this big fire, it's surrounded by a 30-foot pit of water. So somebody has to trudge through a 30-foot pit of water before they get to the fire. It's really high up, right? And there's people walking around and handlers, and there's people around.
Planning prevents poor performance.
I just wanted to get the question out.
There you got it out.
I think it's fair. With these little, do people ever write things on the little marbles, and has anybody written like the name of their ex on any of them or anything like that?
No, initially it started out with a pen and paper, and that people would write intentions. But I had the feeling that people may just write malicious things on there, right?
right. You're onto something.
Charging like these attentions, and I think that for me, that felt like to be something a little bit different about writing it down, and as opposed to like, it's a different thing. You're not gonna go within yourself, hold a thing, meditate on a thing. Meditating is just going within yourself, right? So you're not gonna go. I think it's less likely that you're gonna hold a thing and go within yourself and be malicious, right? Because then you're being malicious towards yourself, right? Whereas if you're writing it down, you could be like, oh, la, 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 la. It's like Twitter. La, 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 la. You're not going to do that when you're doing it to yourself. So this is the intention of holding and charging the intention without physically dictating it.
I like that.
Roger, it's like, let's say like 60 years from now, you out here, you need to tell people about like COVID and what happened, right? The collective experience.
We have to tell that to people right now.
I know.
That they just lived through it.
That point, but I'm just saying for when we're really removed from this, because at some point we will be removed
when we're in our
from
climate
this
refugee camp, sitting around our carbon neutral fire. Roger's your thing, carbon neutral, by the way.
Where is the keep interrupting me? Where is the keep interrupting me?
That's your thing. You got to ask about the carbon neutrality. That's important.
Well, we take all of the ashes and we purpose them in community gardens, so there is a regeneration and recycling component. Yeah,
right there you go. So, but again, like, how would you almost describe? And I guess not so much your, like, obviously we have a personal experience through COVID, but more so like what you saw, like just from your point of view.
Yeah. So here's what's interesting about that, right? Humans are really bad at not listening to or reading the knowledge that was passed down previously.
Yes.
My brother, the plague lasted longer. We have like a long history of large global history moments in history where we continue to do this. The Romans were the biggest thing, and then they died. The Greeks were the biggest thing there. The Egyptians, the Atlanteans. Dude, this is what humans do. We don't read our history and try and circumvent the problems of the past because we've seen it all before. So I'm going to tell you the same thing that they tried to tell you before. Barack Obama invented a whole playbook for a respiratory pandemic. He wrote a whole chapters on it. They did that because there was a history. They knew it was inevitable, and they had a playbook for it.
He blocked two other diseases from getting in here.
Yeah.
So do you understand? Like, if you want to be smart about it, the history is there to circumvent the thing as best as possible. but for whatever reason, certain things will happen.
The history books in Florida and Texas will certainly never reference this.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it is what it is. So this is the thing, right? It's like, don't even bother to ask me what it's like in this moment. I could refer you to hundreds and hundreds of books that have gone through similar moments in human history.
And they don't even
gone through it.
bother to
I think what's important about just what this installation speaks to is that people are actually remembering what happened and not trying to just say nothing happened. Like, oh, like
Yeah.
but they're also like intentionally mischaracterizing what they saw happen. There's so many people. Like I was talking about this today with somebody that like I think the total number of people dead from COVID is way higher than we know.
Of course.
And that there is a significant chunk of the population that doesn't even think that happened. Like
To let
these are
them
the
people
same
die.
people.
I'll tell you what's significant though, and I'll answer your question, right? What is this moment good? How am I going to remember this moment, right? So check this out. I was doing a burn vessel the first day I launched a burn vessel. I launched it at my restaurant. I did the burn vessel and then I walked away. A couple minutes later, one of my most beloved staff members, everybody calls her Mama, came up to me. She just finished it right after me. She came up to me bawling, my brother, bawling, right? I said, Mama, what's wrong? I get up. Mama, what's wrong? What's going on? What's going on? She said, Roger, thank you for this. I said, why do you say that, Mama? She said, look, nobody knows what's in our hearts. We walk around every day like everything is cool, but none of us are cool. We just walking around doing what we got to do to feed our family. But nobody knows what's in our hearts. This allows me to express what's in my heart. And so when I think about this moment of COVID, I could think of anybody from almost every circumstance. And yes, some people got hit way worse than others. Don't get that twisted either, right? But I could think of everybody in every circumstance who was affected in a similar way. And when they recap this moment in time, they'd be like, damn, that was hard, man. But I'm glad we had a moment like this where I could express what's in my heart and cleanse it and heal it and bring forward with love collectively, not only collectively, individually, because you meditate on it, but also collectively, we all are doing this in a moment in time, the same way we experienced it. We're collectively trying to heal in that same
individuals acting collectively, whether you want to be or not.
And we know as a species, we need that.
Well, it's the only reason we're not like dead.
Yeah.
You know how many like uncooperative, non-collaborative people saber-toothed tigers ate?
Right, exactly. The one who survived was out there to be like, yo, don't go down there at this time because he's gonna
bring the fire. That saber-toothed tiger is coming. Like
we're gonna figure this out so we can stay alive.
So this is what's important is we interact with the vessels, and those moments is very personal, right? And it's a very individual experience, but that's all happening collectively under the umbrella. And we're all together in the square with the burning at the same time, right? So it really is, I think it's a very special thing, man. It's a very special thing. A lot of great people rallied into this thing and contributed. This thing is like much grander than any creation that I could have thought of. It's a real amazing team of people who made this thing as beautiful as it is. You could go check it all out on my Instagram. I shout them out all the time. These people, they're amazing.
But can the Americans participate? Like, is there some sort of like digital version you can put a ball in a thing or whatever?
Well, check this out. I already know about 6 people who are coming from America. I know 2 coming from New York. I know 2 coming from LA. There's a couple coming from Austin. They found out about it. They're like the fans of mine. One of them is a friend of mine, and they found out about it. They're like, I gotta come and see this. This is like a special moment, man. They're flying on plane. They're like, I already can't get a hotel close by.
Oh, look at this. Yeah, wow.
Is there a live stream or something where we can watch the whole thing?
We're trying to figure that out right now. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but that's a discussion right now we're having. We're trying
to bring your laptop. We'll broadcast it right here on Beltway Radio and beyond.
We're trying to make it a live stream thing, man. So we're trying to figure that out. No promises though, because like the more I talk to people, like y'all are not even near Toronto. Like we're talking to y'all about it because y'all feel the vibes. You know what I mean? So here we are talking, and it's like, so more and more people that we talking to outside of the proximity of the city are asking me that question. So we're trying to make that happen.
So the last time that you were here, it was because your album Edibles, I think, was just out. And as a lot of people who watch or listen to this show know, I apparently have incredible taste in music. As for my 70 some odd thousand views of me being the star of DJ Cool's music video, go check it out. I hear the music. Not loud anyway, my question here is, since the last time we saw you, have you won a Grammy because of us, or are you nominated for the awards next week?
No, man, but I just dropped this video for this single called Never Thought.
Yeah, that's on that record.
Yeah, it's on that record. We just dropped the video, I think just yesterday, 2 days ago. The video turned out nice. Actually, just yesterday, the video turned out nice. You go check it out. It's on my YouTube. It's
how many views does it
have?
Oh
my get off here. You are corrupted by the views, okay? I've watched this over the last couple weeks. He's corrupted by the views. Every week we gotta talk about his views.
What is this questions about?
He's not about nothing.
I got asked to be in a music video for friend of the show, Priest and Nomad, and the legendary DJ Cool of the fame.
Yeah, of course.
Well, there's other people don't know, Roger. I gotta talk.
Yeah, come on.
No, that's not for you.
You gotta know that one, bro.
So
everybody knows that one.
Yeah, so they recut a version of Music Ain't Loud Enough with Priest rapping all kinds of cool stuff in there. It was really good. And so then and they asked me to come be in the video, and I was, and I'm in the opening skit in the video, and then I'm just great in the video.
Did you hear that? He said, I'm in the opening skit of the video, and then I'm just great in the video.
I am, because I'm in there too.
He's drinking that confidence juice, bro.
He's just Gatorade, just a full size at a sideline on it.
All right, but in any case, this thing is got way more views than anything I've ever been a part of in very, very short order. It hit 10K in a couple of hours. So I know it's not a big deal to you. You get millions of people watch you all the time.
What are you talking about, Roger Mookie? You're talking about 10,000 views.
But so
10,000 views.
But his video just came out. So I want to know what the views are at, so we can see how much faster he gets to 75.
I have no idea. I don't look at that shit.
Exactly.
I actually don't. I don't look at it. I don't look at followers. I don't give a shit. I just post it. I post whatever I want. You like it, you don't like it. That's cool. You want to follow? Cool. You don't want to follow? That's cool too. Making stuff, bro. I'm in the world making stuff.
The views and the likes have corrupted him. He's been corrupted in the mind.
Let me show you something. How many views does it count for Mama? How many views was that worth? 1 view? 6,000 views? 1 million views?
Yeah.
We touch that woman in her heart, my brother. You feel me? You feel me, brother? I don't give a fuck about how many views, bro. I touched that woman in her heart with this shit. Right?
Although we do hope this episode gets a lot of views, so everybody knows to go check out the burn.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. That's all good. Blah, blah, blah. I don't run on statistics, bro. I run on frequencies. I run on people, and I run on energy. So it is what it is.
I want to grow up to be him.
That's a good job right there.
All right. So we want to invite you to DC as we did the last time.
No, I know. I gotta come and mess with the go-go, man. I told you I'm coming for the go-go.
Yeah, we're definitely extending a real invitation. We can actually take you to places.
And now the city actually weirdly embraces it. So before they used to kick it out of the city.
Named our thing.
Yeah, it was like gangster shit, bro.
I know why. There was a lot that goes on at these years. But now they embrace it. You can actually go out and it's back.
Yeah,
that's I gotta go deep, bro. I gotta come back. Yo, DC still call it Chocolate City?
Sort of like a moment.
That's bad, man.
Milk Chocolate City is Milk Chocolate.
There you go.
That's cool. Milk Chocolate City.
Whatever it is. Yeah, Swiss Miss. There you go.
Milo.
So peep this. I'm in a building right now at this property, right? The name of this building is called the Black House. That's where I'm at right now.
I love it.
That
I
sounds
love
like
it.
a good building. It was orange.
And
All right.
get to the thing again.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna play Florida or not. Now this game works where we're gonna read you a news story with the location of the and you have to tell us whether this happened in Florida
That's a great
or
laugh.
not in Florida. That sound easy?
Yes, I think it could be pretty easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody says that.
Yeah. I wish I saw the title. So
A man is accused of
Okay,
biting.
wait. How many questions is it gonna be? Just one?
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Just
read you
one
one story.
Oh, one story. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, a man is accused of biting the head off a woman's pet snake during a domestic dispute. According to police officers,
Florida, bro. That's Florida. It's already Florida.
I haven't even told the
It's
story.
already Florida.
he already went in.
100%.
He went in. All in on
Answer.
Florida. Final answer. It's Florida. You didn't hear anymore.
Yeah. All right, but I'm gonna read it anyway. When the
You
police
said biting a head off a pet snake. I already know there's meth involved. There's some snake. There's some cage pool. That's Florida, bro.
yes. So people know the meth and gators rule, but this was good. Able to deduce that there's a reptile. That's a good start. And then biting the head off. Good
That's
indicator.
meth. It's meth.
And
That's
in Miami-Dade too. So
Yeah.
okay. So finish the story. Finish the story for fun.
Okay. When the police arrived, they could hear a fight between a man and a woman going on inside the apartment 108. They knocked on the door several times and made loud verbal commands to open the door. The fight continued as the door remained closed, and at one point, officers heard the woman scream, so they kicked in the door. When they forced their way in, they saw a woman about 2 feet from the door, and the person she was fighting with, identified as 32-year-old Kevin Mayorga, running behind the door to close it. One of the officers used his taser to no effect. There's your meth. He was then removed from the apartment. Police say he actively resisted. At one point, he struck an officer in the face with his arm, which had a handcuff on it, causing an abrasion to the officer's face. The police said Mayorga continued to resist and was taken to the ground and placed in leg restraints. It was at that point the woman told the officer, all this happened. It was at that point that the woman told the officers that he had bitten the head off of her pet ball python. The dead snake was found next to the door with its head detached.
That's Florida. There's no doubt Florida. It's not a question. You gotta come up with harder stories than that, dog. You might as well have said there was an alligator and a cage pool. And there was a bunch of people golfing in the distance.
Like you've been saying it.
Oh my God.
Gloria Stefan drove.
Why are we biting heads off the snake? You the shit to do that, man. To bite a head off a snake. Is that a crime of passion?
Well, it's a crime of resisting an officer with violence, false imprisonment, and animal cruelty. So it's on the list.
Yo,
but I gotta give it to him. That's pretty a lot of kudos, bro. Because that snake probably tried to bite him while he's trying to.
Hell yeah.
So he had to outmouth the snake, and snake's mouth can detach like this, right?
Right. And now ball python's pretty small, but still,
but still.
Nah,
I mean,
a snake.
You're
out here biting heads off of snakes. Like,
that
feels like some fucking.
Okay, let's go, yo. Let's do this. That one was too easy. Do next week's Florida right now. Florida or not right now.
You think this show is prepared that much? you think that type of preparation is happening here?
Come on, make up another one. He could be like, okay, Florida or not. You have Raycon and you got Ghostface Killer riding in a Maybach. It's like, bro, this is New York. That's not Florida, bro. We know. Come on, bro.
I could tell you a story that I know is going on in Florida right now, but
that
it's
would
not.
Oh, now you just gave it away. It wasn't Florida.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
well, I thought when I said Mar-a-Lago, that would maybe do it too. So. it's there is that story going on.
Well,
Which one?
And
There's a
Lindsey
few of them,
Graham
right?
Chick-fil-A bags.
yes, we have a lot. Yeah.
So what happened? Did y'all sign off on the debt thing? I haven't
No,
been following.
not yet. We're gonna crash the economy, but
Yeah,
you
don't
have,
worry.
You have till June. So
Yeah,
you'll
don't
be
worry.
all right.
It's gonna
that's
come down,
long.
crash and burn.
Your toonies are gonna be worth fornies.
Christ. What the-
That was the great Canada joke.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. That was pretty
That's
good.
pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I'm not mad at that.
All right, I'm not proud or ashamed. I'm both.
There you go. Nuance.
Yeah,
Yo, where did you grow up? Where did you both grow up?
DC.
Yeah, here in DC.
Or both DC, born and raised?
Yeah.
Oh
This is-
wow,
this
that's
is-
unusual actually for DC, isn't it?
Yeah, we're the only natives left.
Yeah, yes.
It's pretty much the case.
I'm by way of England, but
Yeah,
I've been here since
yeah.
I was one.
Oh, since one. Okay.
He's keeping the pound sterling on his own.
Exactly.
God.
Jamaicans and whatnot.
Yeah. Jamaicans in London, they love London.
Yeah, it wasn't my choice.
It was the queen that got them. You know what I mean? It was like,
Exactly.
yeah, blah, blah, blah.
About that, Roger. We don't talk about that anymore. It makes fans uncomfortable.
Right, exactly. I'm not going to speak ill on the dead. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
I'll just leave it there because I have some choice words for you.
I was just saying that the queen. That's why the so many Caribbean people love the UK has ended up because they love the queen back in that era.
Oh, but it's insane though. Like my
It's kind of a
grandmother,
weird thing.
My grandmother loved, bro. Love.
like, and they're born too on the same, like the same birthday. So it's too much. It's too much. Like, and I'm like, Nanny, this is I get you like her, and she's like the queen this and the queen that, and I'm like,
She thought she was ordained. She thought she was ordained.
Exactly. I'm like, look, the only one I'm
Why do you say this in English? How about that? Can we ask that question? That's the only thing.
And the Irish asking the same question.
Right, yeah.
A lot of people around the world ask, why do we speak this English?
Why is everything in the airport in Dublin written in English?
Yeah,
that is a very good question.
That's sick.
It's pretty awful.
Yeah, anyways, I'm not gonna go down that road.
All right. So anyway, think that aren't awful, or help bring the awful out of our systems and into the ashes of people's gardens. Yeah. Roger, how can people follow the burn? What can they do to interact with it? Digitally from a distance. What's the hashtags, socials, all that kind of stuff?
So if you go to toronto.ca/theburn, you'll see everything you need to. There's a schedule of where the vessels are going. More information is going up about March 11th. Thing at the square, so that's all coming down. I'm consistently posting stuff on about it. So if you go to @RogerMooking, all my socials, you peep, and I'm constantly dropping new stuff about the burn. Yeah, thanks. There you go. I'm constantly dropping new stuff about what's going on with the burn, and there's new music coming out and producing new records for other artists as well, and a bunch of stuff going on, man. So a lot of fun. Art saves lives, my brother. So we out here just contributing to the body of human art in the world, because there's not going to be a lot of human art left in the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, what a decent person. I wish we had more decent people.
I think there are decent people out there.
This is a good example.
I think there are decent people
to the world.
I think it takes folks doing things like this to help bring together the decent folks.
Example.
So yes.
Okay, well, Roger, you're our example of a fantastic guest, gracious with our technical trouble, and just a very impressive person taking care of the world in all of the ways that they need it, through art, through music, and through food. So that is the wraparound of humanity right there, right? It's all the culture things at once. Did you write a play or anything recently? Because if we can add that to the list.
Call me back in 6 months. I'll tell you about
that. Of course, he's on it, right? He's already on one.
Right now, 6 months we'll be able to let you know, but it's just.
Hey, do you need anybody to play like an annoying radio host?
Hey, look, ready to jump in here. Look,
he's like, I'll make the views hot, like that video. I'll make the views hot.
We got the views. Jim's got the views going up. That's
cinematic gold. What can I say?
Oh God.
All right. Roger, we know it's a school night. We have to get on to the rest of our annoying show, and we know that you have important things to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if there's any more places people can buy your records too? Where's a good place to buy the records?
Yeah, just search out Roger Mooking on every one of the streaming things. You can go peep it out there. It's all there. There's videos, YouTube, Roger Mooking YouTube. So all the stuff is out there. If you're questioning where to go to my social or go to my website, rogermooking.com. It'll direct you to everything where you want to go. So there's a good
The
point.
SEO, he's strong.
Yeah, he's good on that.
in the
It's a
SEO.
very
His name is
identifiable
gonna go.
name.
It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
but that's the thing, right? There's only one Roger Mooking in the world. It's not like my name is like
That's true.
Jim Jones, or like, I guess that's a bad example. Maybe that's a bad example. But so it's like it's easy to get all the handles. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. No, we understand. We're Beltway Radio. There's nobody wants to be that either. Roger, we're gonna let you go. We're gonna take a break and come back with the second half of the show.
Some part of the show.
You're listening to ChipChat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Thank you, Roger. Sweeps.
Respect.
Thanks, man.
What is it?
You know it's gonna happen. I made my daddy a promise. I put in them Mr. Dallas. Yeah. Choker tighter, just my color. Oh, true work. We came from projects to process. Hey. I never thought that it would. Course you did. Understood. Now I get back to gap. Make the stallion making good. Peter picked the piper of the pipe that I was smoking good. Now I'm giving back to all the people from my neighborhood. I'm blown. Why you blowing up my phone? I don't know why you keep buzzing around and you know it's no fly zone. Get out my eyes, oh. Now you all up in my face. Who'd have thought your story fall apart like MySpace? I never thought that it would come to. Thought you'd come to. Now we steady fighting like like you want to. But I was shocked like how they got Mike. It's not right, it's knock how they tried to rock you like night, but who's there? We just sophisticated apes, so who cares about who runs away with whose heart and whose hair is not theirs and whose face is Botoxin and what toxin is toxic when we all gonna wind up in the same little boxes. But still, I never thought I'd see a dog with a jacket. Kind of pointless, ain't it? What's more important is who's packing and what's love and who gives a shit if she wants her. And why's everybody an influencer? And everybody got a sex tape and a black face in their past till they got a real black face in their ass. And who thought rich people would be depressed? They must have ran out of people to oppress. Man, what a mess. Like eating pork for sushi and wearing Gucci. Or having surgery on a coochie. Homeless veterans asking for Lucci. Man, it's loco, so I come to poke hole until the truth come out this chokehold. It's no go, oh no. Should I just put my finger in a wet socket? Nah. I got a whole record store in my pocket. True. I just be happy and laugh and put it on the gram and put it on my ear every time I make about 100 grand. Damn.
I never thought that it would come to this.
But of course it did. And you know it's gonna happen again. And you know it's gonna happen again. Never thought I could move thousands. Never thought jumping in the crowd would keep me grounded. Never thought I would find purpose in the mountains. Never thought I'd be making love to my accountant. Hey, someone's looking out for me. Someone's gotta vouch for me. Hey, I'm a living legend in the making. I've been cooking cheddar. Brother Spices on the sound for me.
I never thought that it would come to this. Come to this.
And you know it's gonna happen again.
I never thought that it would come to this.
In the league anymore. Oh,
I never thought.
And you know it's gonna happen again.
welcome back
Your
to
house
ChipChat.
stinks. Oh, but what have you been doing to cover
that
Welcome back to
would be.
ChipChat.
Did it say? Hold on. Did it say your house stinks? That's a very fitting to come back to.
Yeah.
Rashawn, welcome to ChipChat. Your house stinks.
Well, you're on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Exactly. That's the beyond.
All right. I'm Chip. Who are you? I don't even know
We've
where
already
we
done
are in
that.
the show
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly. It feels like the beginning, but it's closer to the end.
That's weird.
It's weird.
All right. So speaking of weird, we did promise that we would talk about this, and
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a way we can avoid it. And there's, there was another story that is also terrible that I just was reading today about in California, where police shot
Double amputee.
a guy in a wheelchair because
I
they were
saw
afraid
that
he
flash.
was going to throw a knife at them.
I saw that flash across my screen. I said, I don't have the capacity to.
They could walk up stairs and he can't get them. Like they would be that safe. I hope Greg Abbott has something to say about it. But anyway, what happened in Memphis was that a young guy who liked to skateboard and take pictures of things and worked at FedEx and was a dad and, cool dude.
Right.
Play basketball.
Yeah.
He got beat up by the cops and died.
Yeah.
And the cops filmed it all because, of course, everybody has the body cameras now. But there were lots of cameras. They beat him.
Well, now it's no. We don't got to even couch it. No, they charged him. They murdered this kid.
Well, they did murder this kid.
Yeah.
And they did also get charged. So there are several stories here.
There's a lot of stories here.
When they pulled Tyre Nichols over, it was for no reason. It was for a suspected reckless driving. That's the most subjective charge there is in traffic, because what is reckless? Except where there's like speed involved, but that's not the case.
Yeah, which you should be able to track speed and
right. You have radar. They're like in Virginia, if you're over 80, it's an automatic reckless charge,
right? Even
if you weren't weaving around or whatever. Okay. At one point after they pulled him out of the car, he ran away.
Yeah.
So he was gone. They could have just, oh shit, he got away. Well, we've got his car and his license, and we know where to go find him. So we'll just impound the car and go find him.
But I'll keep going. I'll hold that point there because I want to go back to that point in a second.
So they made him. He wasn't a threat, but they chased him. They cuffed him, and then they beat him after he was cuffed.
Right.
Which is one of the telltale things that you see even in movies of corrupt bad cops of hitting somebody while they're already cuffed.
Yeah.
While they were beating him, they knew that their body cameras were rolling and that there were other cameras all around them because they knew where to go get the footage. And you have to assume basically everything you do is on camera at this point because there's just cameras everywhere. Everything is recording. And while they were beating him, they had this sort of weird chant that they were doing. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but they are chanting, "Show me your hands, stop resisting, get on the ground." But they're all chanting it at once, and there's 71 different commands were given in the space of about 30 seconds, which somebody reviewed on the tape.
Yeah, and
he couldn't show him his hands because they had been cuffed. He was on the ground, and stop resisting. He wasn't resisting. They were on top of him. The cops weren't saying those things because they were happening. They were saying those things because that's what they're taught to say while they're in commission of otherwise illegal activity.
Right.
It's a mantra.
To build their case.
Yeah, exactly. They had a conference afterwards where they worked on making sure they got their story straight. And you can see some of them knew to cover their cameras and others didn't. So we saw from their camera that they were doing that. When the city officials saw the footage, these cops were immediately fired and charged. And all the cops charged with murder in this group are Black, and they're part of what they call an elite squad called Scorpion.
The elite squad.
Yeah.
There's so many places that we could start with this. He ran away, so he was not a threat. Let's just start there with that one. I think what's easy to observe now from the initial concept of policing, right? And people are gonna hate when I start talking about slavery.
No. We know what it is.
You see what my book is today over there. The game is sitting over there. The whole concept of once someone is running away,
that's when you go get them.
There seems that, again, and I'm just tying together where this comes from. Even if the resist or the runaway wasn't in play, there probably is not going to be we're going to deal with you nicely on here. But once that happens, there is now inside of every cop's mind, we're going to enact some street justice on you. Once you have caused me to go do some work, I am going to make sure you feel, and this is this is it.
I hear the people I know who happen to, be in these groups of categories of people at law enforcement. I have heard them have these conversations amongst themselves in public conversation.
And the thing is, if any of them are listening, they're kind of smiling and they got like, because
they know.
They know what it is. And it's like,
you see him doing it like at the top of the escalator at the metro.
It's
just like chatting about, I had to rough that guy up because he looked at me funny.
Because again, who we hire for these positions are folks who have this warrior mentality.
Or if they don't, that gets ingrained in them when they get to the academy.
Let's talk about that piece as well, too, with the police. When you're a police officer, they're going to tell you, you're not white and you're not black.
You're blue.
You are blue.
Yeah.
Right? This is
not the good kind of blue that votes for, abortion rights.
Yeah, so even there's that piece. I don't know. It's a young woman who's the police chief, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
She's a single mom too.
Yeah.
That's critical because the Tucker people use that somehow as evidence of why this happened in Memphis.
Did you see that?
I don't want to give them any.
Don't corrupt my brain with this. All right,
just forget that.
I did hear.
Right.
I did hear that she said that this has nothing to do with race. I heard that. Are you mad, woman?
I mean,
I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. I haven't seen this, and I probably need to look into it. But I've heard this from, I think, a very valid source that she spoke out and said, like, because it's all no. This is all about race, right? Let's just take right.
There is one plausible way that it's not.
Okay, let's see that.
That this is some personal dispute between because these elite squads, heavy air quotes on elite,
right,
often turn out to be fronts for criminal enterprises. It's remarkable how many of them end up going down for running drugs.
This kid doesn't necessarily seem like
but maybe they were doing something and he saw something and he's a loose end. That's the only way it's not about race, is if it's about that level of corruption.
From how so to me was that it because these are black officers, this doesn't have anything to do with race. No. It's again, just take what he got stopped, right? He got stopped for traffic stop, right?
Going to his mom's house.
Yeah, going to his mom. They're like, I think it's somewhere around like 8 times more white people who be driving cars out here.
Yeah.
We never hear about this.
No.
I never hear about a white person getting snatched about the car or even stopped from the beginning. Like, it doesn't happen.
And just because the cops were black doesn't mean that they aren't also raised in a white supremacist society that criminalizes black men for existing.
And again, think about this too. Even as what black cops understand, as white cops understand, is you can do this to black people.
Yes.
That's what they both understand.
Right.
They all understand that you can't do this to white people.
Right.
All right, you want to talk about another way how this is about race? Those arrests happen within 20 days.
Yeah.
In 20 days, real fast. Where the hell is the police union? I never thought I would even say that, but where is the police union?
Yeah.
I thought the police union, when things like this happen, are the first people to come out. They're sending the highest paid lawyers.
That's right.
Where the hell is this police union?
Where's Bill Bratton and all these New York former New York commissioners out there talking about, well, we ought to wait and see what, the things and get the investigation and take a year and a half in internal affairs. Sharpton and Crump both kind of hit on this when I've been listening to them talk about this, is that the quick justice, or at least quick arrest of the perpetrators in this case, that was probably a showing your hand kind of level of mistake by the police, because they'll never be able to stonewall another one of these investigations. If these guys are arrested and charged within 20 days, the next time a white cop kills a black man and you don't get it in 20 days, your time just got a lot shorter. You used to have a couple months and people would be like, all right, well, they're just working, like in 2-3 months level of charges. People, that seems to be where we kind of came to. Now you got 2 weeks.
I mean, but you know what's going to happen in 2 weeks? Suspension. That's what's going to happen. They're going to suspend the officers. When they suspend them, then they're going to send out the very high-priced lawyers that go out in front of TV and say, oh, being a police officer is dangerous.
It is. It's
dangerous. It's a dangerous job.
Right. That you chose.
And I'm trying to find, like, I guess the specific words around this situation, and I guess what the global situation is around this is that this has continued to happen. It unfortunately is going to continue to happen. This is going to get washed away by something else.
Yep.
I hate to be that, like, it's going to get washed away. But
It's already got washed away. They shot a guy in a wheelchair.
Exactly. So I hope that eventually, right, things eventually, like, are gonna, like, I think things eventually have to turn. I don't know when that turn happens.
You keep saying that.
Probably not gonna be in my lifetime. I don't see it. Doesn't seem that way. But we do need to continue to talk about these things. I don't think folks need to continue to watch.
I don't like the sensationalism of the video, and I know that if it weren't for the videos, these arrests wouldn't have happened.
So it's a very
if it weren't for the public seeing the videos, there might not have been enough of the public pressure on whatever.
All right, so speaking on that,
this is Brian, the producer.
Yes, the cops were already arrested. They were already fired. We already know what happened. Why show the video, and especially publicly?
I think there's
probably a significant number of people who will say, "I don't believe your narrative."
And even if you don't show it, someone's going to submit the FOIA request, and it's going to come out,
right? And
no matter what.
But I think, here's my point on that. I felt that seeing the video, to me, again, we already knew what happened. It's like another innocent person pulled over, getting killed by cops for no reason. I don't need to see the full video of that. I don't care. I don't want to see a clip of it. I'm done with that.
But I think that's up to us.
It's a plus, yes.
No, but it's up to us not to watch it.
But what I'm saying is, it's like, but then again, yes, it is up to us. But still, the news media will take it. It's there for their, again, for a lot of people to discuss about. It will be constantly discussed like we are now. And unfortunately, again, it's another conversation.
Mm-hmm.
There's no action. The only action, again, it will happen in Memphis. Those guys are going to get convicted regardless.
Right. But the national conversation of what we are really looking at in these circumstances is still not happening. And
the main reason for that is, as long as you have certain politicians in certain places who are going to sit on their hands, on their asses, and do nothing. When I saw Don Lemon interview one of the city council members of Memphis, and he cried after he saw that video, because that was like the first time he ever saw it. And it was just the first question he asked, like, how did you feel about seeing that video? And he had to turn away and pull himself together because it was ridiculous. And I felt that is like, again, if he fully knew about this, then it would have been properly changed right from the jump. But again, when you have an organization or
that's
a
why
unit,
the videos kind of have to exist.
Yes, I get that. But the thing is,
there are a lot of people who need convincing that this is even still happening.
Yeah.
They don't understand.
Again,
are we convincing anybody?
Are we convincing anybody? Yeah. And in addition to the fact is, like, the people that we have convinced, what are they doing to push the narrative? Is like, we need to make full-on changes within the police department and in our cities. And it doesn't matter about more people on the ground or whatever type of defund the police situation we're trying to do. It is like, this has been constantly going on for eons.
Yeah, but
I'm exaggerating with that term.
No,
you might. Yeah, you're not.
I think, especially with the George Floyd thing, because it was so graphic. There were I don't know what the numbers are, but there was a not small number of white folks who did not think that this was really the lay of the land.
And we were all at home.
And who saw this and something changed, and they went, you know what? I think actually things are the way my friend down the street was talking about.
I think for that one there, though, it's also that being with COVID raging at that point, everybody being at home, and almost all the like throes of life at you. Because I assume for most white people, it's like, I'm white. I don't get time. I don't get time to think about this shit.
Much what it's
so
like.
It's like, whatever, I'm white. And like, and being at home and then being able to like almost soak that in. a lot. That
But
people are
that's-
still human. Like
that's
you would
why,
hope
like,
there would be a human
I
emotion
understand
or response to
you
that.
can make the case that the videos being played all the time is sensationalist and
It is.
and is serving some sort of bloodlust, which it
I
is.
think yes, it
It
is.
is very much that.
It is that.
But I think it is also having some positive effect on the people who need this effect. I mean, there are a lot of people who don't believe this.
It's
stuff.
news, right? So there are people like at a certain point, people are gonna report the news.
They're entitled. People are entitled to know what's going on. I mean, that's why we have a free press.
Yes.
But like, I am choosing not to watch these things anymore.
I've listened to it on like in excerpts of it.
Oh God, I was crying in the car. I couldn't.
Insane.
I mean, shame on you, NPR. How dare you
Insane.
play that while I'm trying to drive my kids to school? Like, it's not. I'm not going to watch it, but I don't want them to stop putting them out.
No.
You
Because
got to record all this stuff and you got to play it and you got to make it an option for people to see, because there's still people out there who don't think, oh, well, you know, it's equal justice. It's not. And they don't, they got to see it.
And
Well, yeah.
And on these special units, when you create these special units with folks, you're almost right. You're giving a sense of power that they already have,
Super authority,
like a super authority.
Yeah.
And you have again, these units are usually patrolling certain small areas,
right?
So now they become the overlords of said area, the occupiers of that area. And when someone is occupying something, they were going to use force to continue to occupy it. That is just kind of how power kind of works. In unfortunately, you need these units. You could be using units like this in completely different ways.
You could be
without guns, without there could be other things.
Can be elite lawn mowing units.
That's right.
Like helping to. I mean,
right?
It could be
Yeah,
anything.
that is true.
Elite
Anything
litter pickup unit.
Yeah, anything. Just could be anything else. And the other thing with the cops, what they're going to come back with always is that they're going to have that story about that one time that a traffic stop went wrong. That one time. Okay. And I'm not saying like, obviously these things probably happen in that profession. Signed up for that. So, but
also that one time that traffic stop went wrong, if you flip that mirror around and for every person of color, they're hoping it's that one time that it doesn't go wrong.
Yeah.
Like that's a life or death situation for them every single time.
Every single time.
And the cops are just
and you're the ones with
playing
the power.
At it. Yeah, and bulletproof vests.
Yeah.
Like you're playing at danger. I understand it is dangerous being a cop.
Yeah.
And there are risky things about traffic stops for sure. There's also risky things about like missing a signature on a contract or something like that. I mean, that can cost lives or whatever. The whole thing is like, if you chose this as your job, you chose to possibly make a sacrifice. I mean, that is what nobody is pressing you into this profession.
But again, what it comes down to, and I saw this again firsthand in my own neighborhood a few weeks back, where I watched a cop not even move after 20 shots is let off during rush hour on Georgia Avenue.
Right.
Sitting a block away, did not move. And it's fear, right? And
yeah, but they're not fearful when they're the ones that have this like absolute dominance situation. They've got 4 or 5 of them. They're pulling over a guy they know that can't even say, excuse me, let me get my license to them. And they've got guns and sticks and bulletproof vests.
Right. And I think though, cops in a general term move on a sense of fear. And I just think in that job, that can't work.
Not conducive
to anything,
to protecting and serving.
No, you can't.
It is conducive to oppressing and stealing from.
Yeah. And they don't, and like, I get it. You don't see common man in these people. You don't see like,
no, all you see is
your
bogus
friend, or you don't see in these people. You don't see that. Like, so, I mean, but again, what else am I asking from the police? That again, the whole institution and what it comes from, it's not like a, and that's why I understand why folks say we need to build this shit from the ground up again.
I think we do.
I mean, but that is literally the only way. And I think folks are always going to look at that like, oh, well, what do you mean? But again, I even understand why the folks who are so pro-police move that way, because the police work for you.
Yeah.
The whole system.
Until it doesn't, though.
Fair.
Everybody I know
That's fair.
who's like one of these Blue Lives Matters with
I
their
had a
stupid
you're so
stickers or
right about
whatever
that. I had
that.
a conversation with
The second
someone.
they get pulled over, they're like, that guy was out of line, and blah blah blah. They're all for the cops right up until they're not.
Yeah, or they have some type of relationship with a cop, a friend, family member, and then they just say some off the wall shit, and you're like, oh, whoa, like
yeah, or their friend is over at your barbecue,
exactly
talking about, hey man, this guy, he ran from me, so when I cuffed him, I whooped his ass for 5 minutes. Like, you just gonna tell me that in public? Like, that's a thing? Okay.
And then what are you gonna do? What, like, even like, right? You would think,
well,
like,
don't ask me.
All right, well, yes, I know. Oh my God, you put an anonymous tip line.
I mean,
but even then, like, someone's gonna see that shit and laugh because they are a unit. They are strong. They are a gang.
Yeah, that's what they are.
It's a gang.
That's the problem. Is it elite squad or not? Basically, the farther you zoom out, the more because if they're an elite squad and they're protected by the badge, they're not just themselves protected. It's the entire department that is part of that. And so what are the police, if not a criminal enterprise that is legally authorized to operate? They're privateers. I mean, that's essentially the deal, right?
Yeah.
They've got a letter of marque. It's right on that badge. Lets you do whatever you want in commission of justice. And then, like, what?
They run the streets.
And these cops, that's exactly right. That's why when you see the people out protesting and they say, whose streets, our streets, like,
that's why we're trying
to take that shit back.
We're trying to speak it into existence, but it's not our streets.
But it's not.
It is not our streets. They run the streets.
Yes.
Your life, or not every, like, in a sense, everyone's life, but
there's not a white person in America whose heart doesn't drop every time a cop gets behind him too, because you see those lights and you're like, oh shit.
Like, but again, once you're out there, anything can go south very quick. And
I think the cameras are an improvement.
The cameras are an improvement. And also, too, what someone gonna, I feel, I'm just thinking of things that folks are gonna say back, well, he ran.
He ran. Not at them.
No.
Away from them.
He ran away from them. And if you have followed anything, and if you've been alive for a short period of time in this country, like after age 11 or 12, I get why someone might run from the police.
I might.
Because what is it? Fight or flight.
Yeah.
And fight, we know what that's going to do.
Well, and
you flight, you know what that's going to do.
You know what that might do.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyree Nichols was compliant.
He was. So
he was on the ground with his hands cuffed behind him. And they picked him up and kicked him. They even held him up,
propped him up
for another guy who missed his chance to beat him before and came running over and punched him in the face while he's being restrained by the other two officers. That kind of cruelty. First of all, I don't know why anybody ever feels like, oh, this is my chance. I can't wait to run up and punch somebody.
I mean, but that's what you signed. You might have signed up to do that.
Yeah, you might have been that kid who got his ass whooped in high school, and now you want to go get a badge and whoop somebody else's ass.
Also, too, I think what's unique about this is that it's a beating versus a shooting.
Right.
Because the shooting, and I'm not justifying it, but the shooting, what they're always going to say is split-second decision, right? I had to make it.
Yep.
It's a choice to go beat somebody like that.
And to beat somebody to death, it requires sustained intention.
Yeah.
That's, I think, with the thing about the quick pull, right?
Right.
You might have that instant fear and then instant remorse. That can happen. But if you're beating somebody to death, the first time you hit them, you have to get over that remorse immediately and keep hitting them if you're going to kill them. And that's what they did. These guys kept making the decision. Every strike, every blow, every time they injured him, they made that conscious decision. It wasn't like they already pushed the thing down the hill and they couldn't stop it. They kept choosing it.
Picked them up, propped them up, punched them.
The way you set up a punching bag.
Yeah.
And that and good. I'm glad they're charged. I'm glad they're not going to have an easy time in jail. I can tell you that.
I again, a kind folk, a kind people. Because sometimes I get why people walk, because there was a collective F all of this, forget all of this. It'd be a cold day in hell in this country. I swear to God, it would be a cold day in hell, yo. And I know the only thing I can say that would be close to that, they pushed all those people on reservations.
Yeah.
When they said, fuck all this shit. And went and said, fuck that.
Yeah, they literally put them in camps.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, we've seen that movie several times.
It's a goddamn shame. That's
Yeah.
just a goddamn shame.
So anyway, that's us processing that thing in front of you, and doing it in the way that we feel is least damaging to our audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we don't want to
Probably stayed on it too long.
Yeah, that's all right. We needed to do that. You want to do a break, or you want to just get to some rundown?
Let's go rundown.
All right, let's do this part of the show. It's called the rundown. This is where I tell you about some stuff that's going on in the news. This is the international edition.
This is wrong.
This features your best buddy.
Yeah.
Well, your maybe two best buddies.
If
You wanted to guess, was there anything that we agreed with Vladimir Putin on?
I heard what he said.
It's a pretty short list, I would imagine.
I want to say I do not condone any.
We're not saying we agree with
strikes
him,
of missiles to rain down upon anyone's head.
This might be on that very short list. Boris Johnson, said that Vladimir Putin threatened him with a missile strike in an extraordinary phone call in the run-up to the invasion of Ukraine by Russia.
This is a crazy quote if it's in here.
The then prime minister said Putin told him, quote, "It would only take a minute." Mr. Johnson said the comment was made after he warned that the war would be an utter catastrophe. The claim is made in a BBC documentary on Putin's interactions with world leaders over the years, and the Kremlin has, of course, called this a lie. Who knows? Mr. Johnson warned Putin that invading Ukraine would lead to Western sanctions, more NATO troops on Russia's border, and blah, blah, blah. He also tried to deter Russian military action by telling Mr. Putin that Ukraine would not join NATO, quote, for the foreseeable future. Way to sell out the Ukrainians.
Great.
But Mr. Johnson said, quote, "He threatened me at one point. He said, Boris, I don't want to hurt you, but with a missile, it would only take a minute," or something like that.
Jesus.
Jolly. That's the quote from Boris. Quote goes on, "But I think from the very relaxed tone that he was taking, the sort of air of detachment that he seemed to have, he was just playing along with my attempts to get him to negotiate." Oh, okay.
That's the world leaders and presidents negotiating with missile strikes upon
Personal missile strikes.
Personal missile strikes.
Now,
and this would be funny if this guy didn't already almost kill people in said country that this man is from.
But as you could guess with anything involving Boris Johnson, quote,
God.
This is from the BBC story, no reference of the exchange appeared in accounts released to the media of the call by Downing Street, so there's not in the readout.
No readouts there.
But with all officially arranged phone calls, there's always detailed minutes taken by number 10, and, it's in the archives. So if this actually happened, it's possible.
We're talking to the number one embellisher, though. So
You're talking about a guy who lies so frequently, George Santos was taking notes from him.
Oh, God.
And, so Boris could have made it up. But it's also very possible that Vladimir threatened him with the missile.
I mean, again,
both things could be true.
This guy has killed people inside other countries. And you know what?
With an umbrella.
He's just, I don't want any beef.
No. We're not trying to start anything with the Russians. They do
listen
listen to the show, though.
But no one is, obviously, because again, that happened inside said country.
Right.
And yesteryear, that's a war. Yesteryear, that is a war.
Yeah.
Full-on war, but nuclear arms change all that.
Yeah, right.
Change
brought peace to the planet. Relatively
because it's just
speaking.
one person's
we
dead.
can go this far.
One person is dead. Two people. Okay.
Yeah.
Can't have 10 million in one city gone.
Speaking of giant cities full of people, Brazil, Dateline. Remember when they had their version of our coup? It was on January 9th because they're in the southern hemisphere, so it's the 6 is flipped upside down. As it turns out, there's all kinds of video from the military police just sort of standing around, not stopping the riot that destroyed the government.
I mean,
you want to know why? Because they're all in on it. They're all supportive.
The election is stolen.
Yeah, they were all Bolsonaro people. So, they were all in. I was yeah, it's fine. Just, no, I'm sorry. The building you mean to throw the bricks through is
that
there.
one.
Yeah.
The playbook has been set.
Yeah. You lose and you're on the right, you riot. You lose and you're on the left, you go on MSNBC. It's just how it works. We love you, Claire McCaskill.
Right.
All right. This is the last one in the international edition, and it requires the accent.
Yes, you do this well.
All right, so let's see. Dateline, Melbourne. Right. Australian authorities on Tuesday sent out more personnel, and specialized detection equipment to search for a tiny radioactive capsule missing somewhere in the outback. You know, small territory to go searching. Including a team of the country's nuclear safety agency. The capsule is believed to have fallen from a road train, a truck with multiple trailers that made an 870-mile journey. It's over a space of 870
No, this story
miles.
is insane.
How big is this little capsule?
It's very small.
Like the size of a pea.
Pea. It's something
it's like the size of a pea.
But it's inside of something there. But yes, the actual capsule was like the size of a pea.
Right, so they're going looking for it. And it's quite dangerous and
yes,
radioactive.
If you find this, if you walk upon this and you touch it, it's like getting 10 X-rays in one day.
Yeah.
That amount of radiation. 10 X-rays. That is again, it's not safe.
Like each time you touch it.
Yes.
So like
exactly.
If you picked it up and like holding it in your hand and like taking a selfie with it or whatever, you might be dead by the time it posts on Instagram.
Very soon.
Right, so radioactive.
Or you'll grow more arms and legs.
Right, right. You can take more selfies.
Well, hey.
As a radioactive cave.
Buy more phones. It's better. You know what? More arms might be better for capitalism.
Yeah, right. You need more phones and more watches. Be like Rudy Giuliani. Wear like 5 watches if you've got 2 extra arms. It still doesn't math out. Right. All right, so this is terrible.
It's bad.
However,
bit
of an update. What's the update there, Tez?
They found this shit.
Holy shit.
Look at it. They found this capsule.
How?
They sent out a lot of folks to go and look for this. Like they sent out, and there was like a machine, I think, as well, too, that went ahead and like found this, like a radio detective or radioactive, like what do they call those things?
Geiger counter.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. It's a Geiger counter. So like they must have set up like an array of them. Right, because they can pick up stuff from quite some distance and they give you some triangulation, and then you can maybe zoom in on 870 miles though. That's quite a lot of road.
That's a lot, and it's in the outback,
in the middle of the outback in like Western Australia. It's quite dry, inhospitable.
Something could have easily picked that shit up and been gone with it,
or like a lizard.
Exactly. Imagine a lizard.
One of those giant spiders. What a Grant did and spun it up into a web.
But my thing is, I was worried about, because this is the whole plot. Think about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Right. They was in the radioactive goo. Boom.
And it doesn't take much of this. It's so some tiny little thing. And some wombat would have ate it.
And you might have thought like, well, we're in Australia, so this might just be normally big. And then, all right.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, kangaroos are the size of skyscrapers. And you're like, what happened?
Again, it's hard to know.
I
mean, Australia is like the wildlife in Australia is essentially all of your worst nightmares.
Everything
stuck on one giant island with spiders. I mean, I like spiders, but not everybody's.
Not everybody is
fan of the spider. Right. Okay. Well, they found the capsule, so everything's good, and I can drop the accent
again. Maybe I hope someone's fired
for what? My accent.
No.
For the capsule.
For the capsule.
Yeah,
yes.
I would imagine they've been sacked.
Good job.
Right.
That's funny.
All right.
We can skip the test talk.
All right, we skip that one. Yeah. All right, back to domestic edition. Hello.
Yeah, there we go. Welcome back.
Back. Now we've come to the part of the show. It's called the Rundown Domestic Edition. Doesn't work.
News.
The grand jury is going to investigate Trump's role in the hush money payments to Stormy Daniels.
This is still going on.
This is back in the news,
That's
baby.
very interesting that this is back.
So there's all kinds of interesting stuff here. Now, we know that Trump told Michael Cohen and signed the check to pay Stormy Daniels $130,000 not to talk about sleeping with him. Don't worry, she already didn't want to remember that. But, like, it didn't work because Cohen eventually went to jail and then talked to the prosecutors. So everybody knows that he did this. He's dead to right?
Yeah.
Why are we just getting a grand jury to hear charges on this. Now he was even in Cohen's indictments listed as unindicted co-conspirator number 1. So like he was person 1 the whole time. So why are we just getting it now?
Have they failed to do this in the prior? Like it's not able to?
Apparently.
Well, I mean, also too, while he was president, would there be any point of doing this?
Well, so yes, because it wasn't a federal charge, so the DOJ rules wouldn't necessarily apply.
Because it's under what is it in the campaign finance they're hitting them with?
Yeah.
Okay.
And wire
fraud
and some
other things. I would assume.
But what's kind of weird about this is that no, that's not why. They didn't bring this up earlier because they thought all of the other cases against him were so much bigger that they would have already wrapped that up by now and, didn't need to do it.
Right.
So now that they see that those things are also taking forever, they're like, yeah, let's just throw ours in the mix anyway. I mean, the guy's going to go to jail for like the rest of his given life, but that might be like, a month. And look at him.
Look, I don't know. His diet of what he eats seems to it keeps the hate strong and somehow his heart going.
Besides the Diet Coke, it's pretty similar to mine. I mean, I eat a lot of fast food. I'm fine. But okay, that's part of the funny story. But there's this other part of the funny story, which is that he and Stormy kind of got into it on the social medias.
On Truth Social.
Yeah, and he got smoked. Partly because of this. This is Trump's statement that he posted on his fake Twitter called Truth Social. And in it, he spells counsel incorrectly. So, but in all caps.
Oh, of course.
Here's the part that matters. I placed full reliance on the judgment, all capitals, and advice of, all capitals, counsel, COUNCIL.
Counsel.
Which is counsel like city council.
Council member.
Counsel like lawyer is SEL because they counsel you on this. And this is not the short, punchy hamburgers, covfefe kind of typo. This was composed and released with that kind of an error in it.
His avatar is so scary.
Okay, can I ask, was he taught by the same teacher that taught the Virginia?
Yes, Joe Morrissey with his afterwards.
Afterwards,
it's still so good.
That is so good. But you know what it doesn't compete with?
Street balls.
Street balls.
All right. Speaking of somebody with street balls, George Santos. Now look, every week it gets better. There was the tape of his karaoke.
I seen someone put a video. It was like, George Santos, who's gonna win drag? And like he turns
that he answered to.
Yeah.
He didn't want to answer any other reporters' questions. We found out that his boyfriend, or his ex-boyfriend, that noticed that when they were together, he was still married to a woman who happened to be the roommate of that boyfriend.
What type of love triangle shit is that? I mean, to each his own, but that's messy.
The list gets longer and longer.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining, if not terrifying.
I know, right? He's
one of the interesting
representative of Congress.
Right. One of the interesting things is this Mother Jones report that started digging into his campaign finance stuff, which is all, searchable in public record.
Right.
A lot of the people who his records claim to have donated to him for his campaign are what?
Don't tell me dead.
Maybe worse than that.
Not real people.
Yeah, they don't exist. There's lots and lots of them. Here's a few choice excerpts from this incredibly great
names?
story.
I hope they're good names.
No, not all of them. Okay. You'll find out. A search of various databases reveals no one in the United States named Victoria or Jonathan Rigor. Moreover, there's nobody by any name living at 45 New Mexico Street in Jackson, New Jersey, which is what was listed on the form. That address doesn't exist. There is a New Mexico Street in Jackson, but the numbers end in the 20s, according to Google Maps and the residents of the street.
She's a straight fraud. I mean, there are many frauds out there.
So the people are fake, but the money's real.
Well, but
so it came from someplace.
Came from him.
He didn't have it.
But when I say from him, like whatever
Who gave it to him?
Exactly.
That's the thing that's really the question here. His 2020 campaign finance reports also listed donor named Stephen Berger, and said he was a retiree who lived on Brant Road in Brawley, California, but a spokesperson for William Brandt, the prominent rancher and Republican donor, told the newspaper that Brandt has lived at that address for the last 20 years, and neither he nor his wife have made any donations to George Santos. He doesn't know who Stephen Berger is, nor has Stephen Berger ever lived there. During Santos's first run for Congress, only 45 people maxed out his campaign during the primary and general elections. In 9 instances, Mother Jones found no way to contact the donor because no person by that name now lives at the address listed on the reports. None had ever contributed to a candidate before sending Santos the maximum amount allowed, nor had any of these donors contributed since. And they were all listed as retired.
He's gonna serve out his term in jail.
Here's, I think, my favorite one. 2 other donors who contributed $1,500 and $2,000 respectively were listed in Santos's FEC filings as retirees residing at an address that does not exist. One was named Rafael da Silva, who happens to be a pretty famous soccer player from Brazil.
Oh, wow.
It was just like, yeah, Michael Jordan gave me $2,500 too.
This guy is, he's going to serve out his time in the Congress in jail because they need the vote. He's not going to be able to vote present, though.
Right. One of the 8 supposed retirees who contributed the maximum to Santos is Carlos Suarez. He is listed in the FEC filings as residing in a 2-unit building in Flushing, New York. According to a resident at that address, no one named Carlos Suarez lives there. She says she does not know anyone by that name, and Nexus Search found no Carlos Suarez living within the zip code.
Who? Carlos who?
This one's
You don't
good
live here.
too. A second retiree named Steve Caruso, who topped out Santos's list on, according to the filings, was living on West Fingerboard Road in New York City. There is no West Fingerboard Road in Manhattan, but there is one on Staten Island. The home there that corresponds to the street address in the filings belongs to a Polish immigrant. He told the newspaper that no Stephen Caruso lives at this address and that he knows nobody by that name.
Yeah, Stephen. I feel like Stephen Caruso has a
He's out there with
delicatessen.
Robinson.
He has a delicatessen or something that he like. At this point, we can just make up what we want for these people, right?
Right, yeah.
I can just make whatever. It doesn't matter. They have great cannolis.
Sure.
Stephen Caruso delicatessen.
All right.
This guy's insane, man.
What's going to finally do it, though? I mean,
Nothing. He
they're
needs
gonna
a
leave
vote.
him there, right?
Yeah, I say they need the vote.
Did you see
A special election, you know what's gonna happen.
Did you see that Dumb Kevin and Cinema had dinner together? They did.
Yeah.
The reporters caught him. What did they have for dinner?
I don't know.
Lobster, because they're both spineless too.
Oh gosh, that's good.
Delicious. All of that joke is true. Okay. You want to get a Tesla?
Look, the price drops didn't look very nice. I always say that. Look, I was like, until March, second, third. I don't know, but they seem to explode.
Well, they might explode or catch on fire.
Or just
or
drift.
randomly stop in the middle of the highway.
Yeah.
But there's a new thing that they're also failing at.
Oh God.
Let's call it basic integrity.
Hold on. Did this say that the steering wheel is popped off the damn?
Yep.
Okay.
The steering wheel reportidly
Come
came
on,
off
Elon.
while the
See, this is why
vehicle
you
was
didn't
in
need to buy
motion.
Twitter.
Right. He's so distracted. The steering wheels are
Steering
jumping.
wheels are coming off the damn carts. This guy did that company, regardless of how I feel about it, like the name and all of that.
Yeah.
He kind of modernized the whole this EV market.
Yeah.
And what are you doing? He's about to get ousted.
Well, so the steering wheels on the new ones, they're really smart steering wheels, right? They have all the stuff, the sensors and all
So
the things.
smart they come off.
They're right. They're so smart. They want to get off the Tesla too.
Exactly. They know it's about to
They
explode.
can see it. Like, fuck this noise. I gotta get out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
I
know what you
on
don't.
The driver to take. Yeah, right. I'm connected to this shit. It could blow at any second. Get out while you can. Don't worry. It's a self-driving model.
That's helpful though. If the steering wheel gets out, then you get out before.
The steering wheel warning you.
Oh my God!
It's like the canary in the coal mine, but the steering wheel on a Tesla.
Hey, this thing is about to explode. You have 20 miles. Do you try to go? How much do you get out, or do you go like 10 miles if it tells you 20 miles before the shit explodes?
Yeah, I'd probably see if I could get to the 7.
Oh, just like gas.
Yeah.
Oh, risky. Risky.
Get to the 7-Eleven. I can get a Slurpee. Yeah, good way to go.
Home,
yeah,
good way to go.
All right. Speaking of disgusting things that
aren't, aren't
Elon Musk. Now look,
I want
to be clear. I got this story out of a reputable newspaper called the Washington Post.
Yeah, fair.
This is like a real newspaper that reports real.
No, that's not the failing.
It's the fake news. Amazon.
Amazon owned.
Yeah. Okay. Also, we need to caveat this by saying we know that Japan is weird. We've talked about this a lot on the show. They're weird.
Yeah, and that's okay.
And we're okay with it.
I do find this one disgusting.
But this, we might have really gone. I don't understand. This is.
Hold on, let me just read the first.
Back to Tide Pods?
Can I read the right?
Yes.
Exactly. Back to zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just start eating the bath salt again. Because I'm gonna read this first sentence here. They lick communal soy sauce bottles and spit on other people's sushi rolls.
Yes.
For viral, again, the likes, corrupted by the likes.
This is what I'm going to become.
Look at it, y'all.
Is this what I'm going to become? Why are they doing this?
So, this is where you're going to go now.
What you're looking at, if you're on the radio, is random young people in Japan basically licking communal stuff or spitting on food that is along a conveyor belt and will be delivered to somebody else. And they're doing it to do what exactly?
To get views.
But who wants to watch this? Like, who sees one of these videos and clicks the like button and wants to see more?
No, there's a whole community out here they like this.
There can't be enough of them to be viral like that.
Yes, there has to be. Someone has to keep watching this.
So, there's foot porn and Japanese kids spitting on stuff?
There's a joke, and someone's probably going to take my idea now. But I, for a while, have told my friends that I want to do food taste. I'm just going to go eat food places. And if the food was nasty, I would just spit it out at the camera. And I swear to God, I said those times I spit it out at the camera would be insane. People would be waiting.
And now
there would always have to be that. And that's disgusting. That is very disgusting.
Please don't put that on this network.
I will not.
I want to.
Brian has thoughts because Brian likes weird things from Japan.
Yes, I do.
What are they doing?
That is surprisingly enough, they are on a manhunt over there to find those kids.
Oh, really? Wow.
They are not serious. They are so serious about it.
Japan is notoriously clean. Right?
Yes. And that you talk about, especially when it comes to their food.
You're going to take the economy.
Yeah. And so literally they are on a manhunt to get those kids.
How hard can it be? They're right there. On a video with their faces.
Well, it's a video, but mind you, roughly was like a few days ago when that got posted. So yeah, they're on a manhunt.
Are you telling me that the Japanese authorities can't tell Japanese people apart?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they will find them. It is a manhunt. So pretty much is once they get them, they're in deep shit.
Yeah, but I know that also the penal system in Japan is notoriously forgiving.
It's the number one trending term on Twitter last week.
Why?
Because people are stupid.
They want this. The people like this stuff, man.
And now the sad part is once it gets infected over here, you're gonna see some stupid kids doing the exact same thing. And it's
during COVID.
Hey, just between me and you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna slap the shit out of somebody who fucking licks in chat. I am gonna slap the shit out of
somebody doing this.
I'm gonna slap the shit out of you, okay?
That's a good viral video.
Yo, I'm gonna
this guy randomly slapped this kid. Whack.
Yo, because what has happened?
I don't know.
What has happened?
if they're not jumping turnstiles or spitting in the food? Why are the children doing this? Why is this happening? You're closer to the children in age than I am.
I have no
They're
clue.
they're jumping over metro stalls and all that stuff. Why?
It's a gateway.
I mean, they can
literally
afford
a
it, can't
gateway.
they? They can't afford that.
Okay, look.
It's literally a gateway.
Again,
Oh my
let
God.
them go and jump over the ones who
Would
cannot.
you rather them spitting in
Put
your
it-
food or
put-
ride
yes.
metro without paying?
I'd rather they get some common sense. That's what I want.
Well, that
That's-
wasn't one of the
that's-
choices.
that's-
I don't
yeah,
care
you're-
what
you're
the
asking
choice
for a
is,
lot,
because
man.
it's either one. It doesn't matter if it's one or the other because they're both stupid.
Yes.
Home training. But look, we need to just put the folks who fail at jumping over on the internet for likes.
What
So
can
they
you
go
not
viral.
solve with likes? Look at what all you
Go
brought to
viral, and then we
humanity.
take the ad money and then fund that into Metro. And on the Metro site, while I've paid to go in there, I will watch it and run up more ads.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
could be a pay-per-view service
I don't know.
too, with
First
like
of all,
exclusive
here's
content.
the thing too. How can they not afford to give? First, again, you need to give everybody free Metro cards and get them in the habit of paying again, and just like of tapping the actual
Yeah.
thing. But is this Metro app not connected to Metro's funding? Because the ad comes up and I can't even see the train.
Right.
I can miss trains all the time because the ad is over it. I just use the one on the website now. But like, what is going on?
Are
Where's
you
that money
shocked
going?
that Metro can't do anything efficiently?
Where's that money going?
I don't know. There's not enough of it. They used it to, I don't know, do all this stuff with the tracks because those were killing people.
Yeah.
I'd send those shiny broken trains.
I know the shiny. That is so bad because it does never fail.
The shiny broken
straight
trains.
straight between Rhode Island and New York Avenue. Oh look, it's the broken trains.
All right, you hear the music, which means you come to the end of the show. We want to thank you, Roger. For
Yes,
coming
thank you, Roger.
out with us. Real, like, DC is very much on the table. I don't care what else we do. We're taking him to stand. We got to take him to
Yes,
stand.
yeah.
That's critical. But you know, I'll break my dry whatever month I'm on by then if Roger comes. We're gonna do that. We'll do like the David Tell show with him.
This is our first.
Remember that?
Oh, God,
The
yes.
after midnight or whatever. That shit was crazy. Let's see. Also, we want to send a huge congratulations, like we did this a little bit last week. Now we can say it, to our own Simone Sky. She is leaving Gateway Radio and beyond. Not by our choice, but because she's been called up to the show. She's
Hey.
going to Radio 1, to the big time, to
There
the
we go.
AM dial. So you'll be able to listen to her. And also, she got promoted from Wednesday, which is an okay day, to Thursday, which is the best day. So she's going to be on Thursday drive time, 4:30 to 5:30 on Radio 1. So go check her out wherever
Yes.
you are all over the world. If you're in Baltimore, and AM. Okay, we want to say thank you to all of our radio partners, Stitcher, whatever VLC is. That's accounted for a lot of our listens. So that's a little iffy. Is that something I'm supposed to know what that is?
No, but it's just funny. It's VLC.
Yeah, thanks to them, whoever they are. WBUR Boston, all those guys. Thanks to NOTN for keeping us on for another week, maybe. We don't know.
Twice.
Thanks to our new digital meatball, Isaac. He's making us famous on the talk pit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Thank you,
actually
Isaac.
working out pretty good. Thanks to our
More views.
home on the interwebs, coplaymedia.com. And thanks, as always, to our family here at Beltway Radio for making us sound as smooth as the Burn in Toronto, which you definitely need to go check out. All right, where can everybody get you on the socials?
You can
Pop back up briefly.
I log on through the website because it's better. You can find me on Twitter at DC Cortez, usually posting things about books. You can find me on Instagram, Catch 'em Cordy. One day I will just dump a bunch of photos on there in my quest to put pictures back into his lives. And that's it.
Like your kid, all the time, random stuff, and then he's gone for months.
Great. Yes. Great album.
All right, and you can find me and the show on the Twitter at ChipChatRR. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram at RipChipChat. And you can, of course, find us every Thursday night at 9:30-ish here on Beltway Radio and beyond. I'm Chip. That says that's fine. You've been listening to ChipChat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Street balls.